Hello, and welcome to this overview of how to read a bunch of ebooks for free or inexpensively without resorting to piracy. I'm Olivia, your favorite resource for book recommendations you can easily screenshot, and you're watching Random Olive Reads. Now, I have been a huge fan of borrowing ebooks from my library for many years, but as a voracious romance reader, the library is even more beloved because of the sheer volume of books I can consume without spending any money. Living in Sacramento County, California, my primary library is the Sacramento Public Library, and I primarily use the digital content available for ebooks and audiobooks. If you're new to borrowing digital content, I'll recap how I go about it. Now, first up, I'm going to talk about Overdrive and Libby. The primary digital collection that I access from the library is from Overdrive. The collection and usage limits will vary from library to library. For example, the Sacramento Public Library allows 60, that's right, 60 simultaneous checkouts for 3 weeks and 30 holds. The catalog can be viewed on a web browser via the Overdrive website or on the Libby app, which integrates with the Overdrive catalog. If you're logged in to either the website or the app with your library card, all of your borrows and holds should be synchronized. You can request a library card from your local library website or just walk into any branch that is near your house. Now, within the Overdrive or Libby app, each book will have a limited number of copies owned by the library. If somebody else has already borrowed the digital copy, you have the option to put the book on hold. When it's available again, you'll receive an email or notification on your device. You can then choose to borrow it immediately or delay the hold a little bit longer if you're not ready to read it yet. If you want to read a book that your library does not own, you may have the option to recommend it to the library. Now, not all library systems have this function enabled, so it'll depend on whether you have this option available to you. You'll need to use the Overdrive website to do this. So you search for the book that you want, and when it does not appear in the results, you click the link that says Add Titles the library doesn't own to see more information. Below the image of the book, there's a link to recommend, and you can click that and put your email address there. If the library ends up purchasing the book, you will receive an email or notification when it's available to borrow. I use this feature all the time for upcoming releases that I'm excited about, and then I get to be first in line to borrow the book when it's available. So now that you've borrowed an ebook or an audiobook, how do you read or listen to it? Ebooks can be read either within the Libby app or sent to your Kindle app or device. Within the native Libby app on your smartphone or tablet, you can adjust the font settings, the size, the background color, the spacing, etc. The app tracks how long you've been reading the book and then gives you an estimate of how much time you have remaining until you finish the book. If you choose to send the ebook to Kindle, it'll send you to a page to log in with your Amazon account information. You can then select the device you have linked to your Amazon account. I tend to jump around from device to device, so I personally use the Kindle app on my phone, a Kindle Paperwhite e-reader, and the Kindle Cloud Reader on my web browser on my laptop. Since they're all synced together, I can switch devices without losing my place. The Kindle options will also allow you to customize font size, spacing, etc., and keep track of how long it's taking you to read the book. Audiobooks can be played within the Libby app. I generally like the user interface here. I'm able to increase the playback speed, jump between chapters, bookmark locations, etc. I appreciate the indicators that show how many minutes left are in each chapter. Hoopla is another digital catalog with ebooks, audiobooks, movies, TV shows, and music. You should definitely check to see if your library card includes access to Hoopla. Not every library system does, so it's going to vary. Depending on your library, you are limited to a certain number of checkouts per month for a pre specified checkout timeframe. In Sacramento, we allow 5 checkouts per calendar month for a period of 3 weeks for ebooks. And it might vary for audiobooks and music, but I don't use those functions. The upside to Hoopla is that there are no holds and you can borrow anything from the catalog immediately. Their collection is the same no matter which library card you're using and overlaps a little bit with the Overdrive or Libby collection. I tend to check Hoopla for a book I want only if it's not available on Overdrive or Libby. Books borrowed via Hoopla can only be viewed using the Hoopla app or through the web, which means I cannot send the book to my e reader device. But still, a great resource if you're looking just for more titles of books to borrow. Now, you can maximize access with multiple library cards. One of the best things about primarily reading ebooks is that I do not need to physically go anywhere to pick up and borrow a book. They are all right at my fingertips, either on my computer or my smartphone. And this means that distance is pretty much meaningless, and I can borrow an ebook from a library system that is hundreds of miles away from where I live. Many library systems are fully aware of this benefit and offer library cards to all residents within the state, even if they're not exactly in town or able to physically come to a branch. My strategy for finding additional library cards is to Google California Library e-card or California Digital Library Card. Obviously, change to your own state as needed. Many of the results will give you the specific criteria for how to apply for a card and whether you need to be a local resident or need to visit a branch in person. Please follow all the rules set forth by the library and be honest about your real address and phone number. If you're approved for a digital library card, you can access all of the digital resources that are offered from that library, which hopefully includes Overdrive and Libby or Hoopla. What this does is it'll give you more books than what your original library has. Also, it could cut down on wait times if you have books on hold because there are more copies that you could borrow from. Now you can search quickly with the library extension on your web browser on your computer. This is a method for easily checking if the book you're interested in is available at the library before you purchase a physical or digital copy. You can install the library extension plugin for your web browser, and I'll leave a link to this website where you can download this plugin. After it's installed, you can update the settings to add your own library systems to the extension and then select if you want the extension to search physical catalogs and or digital catalogs. I have a lot of library cards for systems throughout the state of California, so it's really nice to have multiple libraries being searched at the same time. If you have a lot of libraries selected, I also recommend changing the general settings to change the search from automatic to on demand so that your pages aren't taking forever to load every time you're just browsing on a book website. Now, when you visit a major book related website like Amazon, Goodreads, Fantastic Fiction, other book websites, you'll be able to see if the book you want is available at the library. Before I installed this extension, I would methodically go through every library card in my Libby app searching for the book I wanted, and it was so time consuming. Now it's all one search right on the book listing page when I'm at Goodreads or Amazon, which is amazing. This one is definitely a game changer. So far, I've been talking about library resources, which means you only get to keep the book for a limited amount of time. But what happens when you actually want to keep an ebook forever and ever and ever? Well, first off, you may be able to request advanced reader copies. You may have seen your favorite bookish content creators talking about books that haven't been released yet. It's highly likely that these folks have received advanced reader copies of these books to read and review. Publishers will often provide advance copies to bookstores and libraries so that they can make purchasing decisions for their inventory. Publishers will also offer advance copies to influencers and reviewers to generate buzz and marketing for their books. One of the most common websites to request digital advanced reader copies or ARCs is NetGalley. It's free to sign up for an account and then create a profile. Now, the bio section lets you add more info about what you like to read, where you talk about books like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, etc. To browse for books you want to read, you can look at the category or the publisher. When you see a book you're interested in, you can click the button to request it. Depending on the publisher, you may hear back within a few days. Or if you're not approved, it might just be like hanging out in the background. Alternatively, you can check the section for Read Now books, which are books that are freely available to review without waiting for the publisher's approval. After you've been approved, or if you've selected a Read Now book, there are a couple ways to actually read the book. My preferred method is to send the book to Kindle, following the instructions right on the NetGalley website. And this lets me read the book using my iPhone, on the Kindle app, or on my Kindle device. Or you can just use the NetGalley app, which can be installed onto your smartphone. After reading the book, it's important to go back to the website and submit a review. This gives the publisher early feedback on the book and gives them material to use in any marketing materials. Consistently returning feedback is pretty much essential. NetGalley tracks the number of requests, approvals, and reviews on your profile and publishes something called a feedback ratio, which is the percent of reviews returned divided by the number of titles approved. The higher the feedback ratio, the more likely you'll get approved for more books. So it's really important to not just like take the books for free and collect them. It's in exchange for a fair and honest review. Another thing to keep in mind is because these are advanced copies, the formatting might not be totally perfect or finalized yet. It might be missing like the cover, for example, or certain dedication, copyright information, stuff like that. But it is a document that you can keep on your device or computer. Giveaways are another source for free ebooks or physical books. If you've signed up for Goodreads or Storygraph, there's a section of that website that allows you to enter contests and giveaways. You can go ahead and enter your name for every book that interests you for a chance to win. Obviously, this is not a surefire way to get books, but it's still a fun surprise when you get an email that you've won something. There are usually multiple copies being given away, so you have a pretty decent chance of winning. And besides, you'll definitely not win if you don't enter at all. Another really great place to get free or cheap ebooks is straight from your favorite author. I highly recommend following your favorite authors on social media and then signing up for their email newsletters from their websites. Oftentimes, authors will offer a free novella or bonus chapters when you sign up. Don't miss out on these because there are really great stories hidden here. Additionally, authors will send you regular updates when their new books are released and when any of their already published books are on sale. And lastly, I'll talk about BookBub, which is an email that I genuinely look forward to receiving every single day. This is a deal website where you can register and put in your email address and reading preferences. Each day, you will get an email roundup of books in your favorite categories that are free or on sale. These books are usually more than like half off the regular ebook price, so it really is a great deal. Ebook sales tend to be for a limited time only, so it's nice to get a daily email so you don't miss out. And of course, the free ones are an absolute winner. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found this useful, I would love it if you shared it with a friend and spread the word about how to leverage your library to get free ebooks. You can read hundreds and hundreds of books for absolutely free. Also, links to all the websites and resources I've discussed are in the description box. Like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos, and you can follow me on Instagram at randomolive.